whatever it is that builds your expertise, and people are seeing that and then coming to you. It makes your sales process a lot easier. It also makes your sales process cheaper, right? Because you don't have to pay to chase people. It also converts more people more quickly.
Welcome to Built to Scale, where we have real conversations with entrepreneurs just like you about what it takes to build a thriving business without sacrificing your personal life. My name is Craig Severinsen, and I help people make more money working with better clients while also working less. And now I'm sharing it all with you. Let's dive in.
Hey, what's up, guys? Craig Severinsen here, and this is episode 23 of Built to Scale. Yet again, we're doing another solo episode, so get pumped, because today we're going to talk about how to build your brand so that you are the go-to expert, and it is awesome information. This is life-changing training right now that I'm going to give you, so get pumped up. As always, head to builtoscalehq.com if you want more training and resources around this type of topic, and let's dive in. So let's start with why do you want to be an expert or build your brand around like leadership and expertise, right? And this is one of those things, if we talk about the Built to Scale framework, which I've mentioned a lot in my trainings and on this podcast, the three foundational items are: number one, a hyper-focused niche; number two, make sure you have a scalable package; and number three is expert positioning. So this is so important. I view it as foundational for every single business. And there are three reasons why this is so foundational. So number one is that when you are positioned as an expert in your field, you're able to raise your rates, right? So if you want a profitable business, you've got to be charging an amount that makes sense financially for the growth of your business. Too many times we're not charging enough to be able to reach our financial goals or to be able to build a business that can employ people and pay for services that we need to scale, right? So number one, like probably most important reason, is when you position yourself as an expert, you can raise your rates, which means you can grow your business, right? So that's number one. Number two is it changes your sales process from really being like go get them, chasing oriented, outbound marketing is what that's called, right? To more of an inbound marketing where you're teaching in the marketplace. You're doing things like writing books and speaking, or whatever it is that builds your expertise, and people are seeing that and then coming to you. It makes your sales process a lot easier. It also makes your sales process cheaper, right? Because you don't have to pay to chase people. It also converts more people more quickly. So that is, huge, right? Changing that outbound to flipping it on its head to being more inbound marketing. And then number three is that you actually get more reach. It's more leveraged. When you're positioned as an expert, you can reach more people and get more results with the same amount of effort. Now, there's still effort involved. Like, this isn't like putting it on autopilot, right? Because passive income is never really passive. This is just making it easier and more leveraged, right? Like, if you want to grow a multi-6, 7-figure business, this is a foundational piece. That's why this is so important to your business. Okay, so let's talk about how you can actually grow your expertise. So number one, the thing that you got to start thinking about too, and I've made reference to this in other videos, but you've got to raise your level of your messaging to what we call the leadership level, right? So like most of us try to talk on the how-to content level, and we want to step it up to where are you taking your industry? What's your vision for your clients? What's your vision for yourself? What's your vision for the industry? And having that be your call that people can rally behind, right? Like that needs to be the thing that you're like out promoting, is like, hey, I think that the industry could look like this. So let me put an example of like, what does that look like? My leadership level of content. What do I stand for? What's my banner that people can get behind? It's growing a thriving multi-6 or 7-figure business without sacrificing your personal life. The idea that you can have this thriving business that works well, that has systems in place, that employs great people, and at the same time, you don't have to work yourself to death. You don't have to give into hustle culture. You can have this balance of like a thriving business and a really full life at the same time. That's my rallying cry. That's my banner. That's what I stand for. That's what I'm all about, right? So I can step into my marketplace with that message and really get a lot of people to come to me because I've got that message of what I stand for. So you've got to start asking yourself, what do I stand for? What's my leadership level content? And again, I said these questions, but 3 questions you can ask yourself is, what's my vision for myself, my vision for my clients, my vision for my industry? And those are the questions that are going to help you start to get the idea in your head. Oh, this is my leadership level content. Okay, once you've got that content in place, once you know what you want to talk about, right? That's your positioning, that's your branding, right? Now we want to go start getting that out in the marketplace. And I've got 4 different ways you can grow your brand here, okay? So these are, again, they're writer downers. So if you got your pen, paper, or notepad or whatever, your phone, let's take these notes. So number 1, speaking and teaching. Okay. So that's a broad category. And I've got like some sub points or ways that you could actually do this, right? So speaking or teaching is what you can do. And some ways that you can actually do that is like webinars. So I've done monthly webinars. I've done webinars kind of sporadically too. Webinars have been a huge driver for me. And you could call it a webinar, you could call it a master class, you could call it a Zoom call, whatever you want to call it. It's basically live training where you promote what you're going to talk about and you get people to come and listen. And these are great because 1, they build your brand, but 2, you can also convert on them as well. So that does kind of double duty, which is really, really cool. Another way that you could do this is through conferences, going and speaking at conferences, right? Like identify where are your audience, where are your ideal clients, going and hanging out, and then go be a speaker at those places, right? And imagine, this has happened to me before, where I went to a conference as an attendee one year, and it's like no one barely noticed me, right? Like it's like you got to shake every hand and like get your business card in everybody's hands and like try to be memorable. Versus I spoke at that same conference a year later, and like people are coming up to me and they're asking to work with me. Again, it's that idea. How do I take outbound marketing and change it inbound? When you show up as the leader, as the speaker, as the presenter, the whole experience changes, right? So going to conferences, that's like good. Speaking at conferences, that's awesome, right? And again, we're talking speaking and teaching. And then networking events, same idea. If you go to networking events, that's awesome. If you host a networking event, oh my goodness, crazy good. If you go speak at networking events, also really, really good, right? So that's number 1. The first way you can build your brand, be positioned as an expert, speak and teach. Number 2 is you can write. So if speaking is not your, being on stage is not your style, you're more of a behind the scenes type of person, writing might be for you. And there's, again, several ways that you can express this. So you could do blogs, right? You could do articles. LinkedIn is great for articles, but you could also do articles like, look at the big Entrepreneur or Inc., right? Like find the outlets where people, those are the big ones. I'm hesitating because those are the big ones, but you also want to find just where are your clients hanging out. And if you can find niche publications, maybe their audience is a little bit smaller, but they reach the right person. Man, if you write in those or become a contributor, oh, that is super, super powerful. Okay, so writing in articles, and then also writing a book. If you've never considered writing a book, that might be something you want to do. Also, another idea that you could look into is multi-author books, right? That's where like you get a bunch of your peers and everybody writes a chapter in a book and you all promote it and you split the cost, right? Like that's not as powerful as writing your own a standalone book with a publisher, but that also is a good way to become a published author and have a lot of people around you supporting you to get some momentum on that brand building activity. Okay, so number 1 was speaking and teaching. Number 2 is writing. Number 3 is podcasting. So I called this podcasting, but it's like podcasting / radio, right? And you can own your own podcast. That is always a great move. But you could also go guest on other people's podcasts. You can go on a podcast tour and go speak on as many podcasts as you possibly can. Same thing with the radio, right? Like, does your local radio station have need of your expertise? Could you come on and have a little segment or do a little interview with them? You'll never know if you don't reach out. And you could do that with like different markets. You could be living in New York and do a radio show in California, right? Like the way they do this now is over the phone or online. So like there's no limit to how you can reach them and do this. And then the last thing I've got written down here. So we had speaking, teaching, writing, podcasting. Number 4 is just creating content. So we're talking like social media, YouTube, wherever you're at, be a content creator, not a content consumer. And let me say that a different way because it is super powerful. Stop consuming content and start creating content. That is the number 1 tip I can give you for building your brand, especially on social media, is be a content creator. And what you have to do is you have to kind of block out all the noise that's coming at you on social media and start just like getting your unique voice, your unique viewpoint, that leadership level content out into the marketplace. Be that content creator. Okay, that's what I got for you. Seriously, this is a game changer. If you can level up your positioning in the marketplace, be that go-to expert, right? Be that that person in the marketplace that people turn to and say, hey, if you are wanting to learn about XYZ, they are the person to talk to. It is a game changer for you. And those 4 ways you can do it are number 1, speaking and teaching, number 2, writing, number 3, podcasting, number 4, being a content creator, not a content consumer. All right, as always, guys, if you want help with this, this is what we do all the time inside the Built to Scale program. We are working on marketing. We're making sure that your positioning is right. We've got those 3 foundations, getting them all tight, and then building the system so that you can scale your business. If you want help with that, make sure you go to builttoscalehq.com and check out the resources there. Until next time, take some fast focus, imperfect action. I believe in you. I got your back. We'll talk soon. See ya.
Thanks so much for listening. If this episode helped you, share with someone who needs to hear it as well. For more information on how you can work with me and great resources for your business, head over to builttoscalehq.com. Join us next time for Built to Scale. And until then, take some fast, focused, imperfect action. I believe in you. I got your back. We'll talk soon.